Hey, good day. It's Dan here again, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about fear. That thing that we all have in the back of our minds about things that haven't happened yet that we expect are going to happen that rarely ever do, and yet fear still manages to get in our way so often and hold us back from really achieving what it is we want to achieve. So I was on a webinar last night with one of my mentors, a gentleman who has just blown onto the scene, made a little under $3 million in his first year with this company, which is a phenomenal achievement. Very smart man, has really immersed himself in personal development and finding mentors and following their guidance over the last number of years and has fantastic results to show for it. So he's the kind of guy that I like to plug myself into and learn from. So back to the topic of fear, he talked last night on the webinar about really the three ways to manage fear. And number one way that most people manage fear is pretend it doesn't exist. I'm afraid of that, but I'm just going to pretend it's not there. We'll just push that aside. I think we both know how effective that method is. Number two we talked about is acting in spite of fear. And, there really is no person that walks this planet that has no fear. I mean, that slogan you see on T-shirts and that sort of thing, no fear. I'm not so sure that that actually exists or is even possible. People that do high risk activities, public speakers that do it every day, they still have fear. They've just learned how to act in spite of fear. They've realized that fear is just in your head. It's not a physical, tangible thing, and to push through it. And so another mentor of mine, Bob Proctor, he has this saying or analogy that he talks about is make sure your goal is big enough that it compels you to act in spite of fear. So if you're setting a goal and it really doesn't scare you a little bit, if there isn't an element of fear when you set that goal, it doesn't have to be, I'm going to go jump off a bridge or something crazy like that. But when you set that goal, it should bring up some fears of maybe I can't achieve this. It's got to stretch you a little bit, and that's the key I want to get at there. So make that goal big enough that there's an element of fear involved. And then the third element is actually making the goal bigger than your fear. So act in spite of fear, and then make your goal bigger than your fear. And here's how I'll describe this. So for 15 years, I worked for lumber suppliers and doing design work. And so I know a little bit about lumber. So let's imagine for a second, just work with me. Imagine the longest plank you can get. And I know if it's sawn out of a tree, the longest piece you're going to get is about 20, 22 feet, maybe. If it comes out of a manufacturing plant, they can run it endless, but to get it on a truck, about the longest piece you'll ever get is a 60 or a 66 footer. That's what we used to bring into the yard. So that's a long plank. So picture this. There's a plank about 8, 10 inches wide, and it's laying on the front lawn, and your buddy says, hey, I'll give you $20 if you'll walk that plank. Not like the pirates where you're walking the plank on their ship, but this plank's laying on the grass. All you got to do is walk from one end to the other, and he'll give you $20. Nothing to it. No fear comes up on that one. Obviously, the goal isn't bigger than your fear, right? So you walk from one end to the other and say, thank you very much, hand me the $20. Now let's take it up a notch. Let's take that plank to the top of a 100-story building, and we'll suspend it between two 100-story buildings. So now it's the same 10-inch plank. you've already walked across it, but the deal's the same. $20. I want you to walk from this 100-story building to the other. I bet some fear comes up, especially if heights is an issue for you. I used to work with my dad on lots of construction sites, and while I don't really have a fear of heights, a wobbly scaffold plank was not my friend. I did not like those situations, and I've walked a lot of scaffold planks. So walking across a 60-foot plank between 200-story buildings would bring up some fear for sure. So here's where it gets interesting. If we want to make our goal bigger than the fear, let's put in something that will take our focus off the fear. And here's how you do that. On the other building is one of your children, and that building's on fire. So now you have to get from the building you're on to the other side and back. And if you're a father like me, there's no hesitation. You're doing it. You're going across, you're getting your kid, and you're coming back. And if you don't have kids, then substitute somebody that you love. Put your mom or your sister or cousin, somebody that there's a strong feeling there for, and you'll find a way to get across that plank. And so hope that example was useful. My encouragement to you is to, when you're in a situation where fear comes up for you and it's holding you back from going for what you want, then find a way to make what you want bigger than the fear. Find your why for why you want what it is you say you want. If there's a strong enough why, the fear will fall aside. And so that's my encouragement. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I look forward to seeing you on another video. Make it a great day. Bye for now.